Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video we continue on a guided tour through the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise in part 2 of the complete history of FNAF. In part 1 we took a look at the development history, gameplay, story, Easter eggs and animatronics for the original Five Nights at Freddy's game, in addition to going over the backstory of its creator Scott Cawthon. In part 2 we'll do the same, but this time for the sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So sit back, relax, and let's take a walk down memory lane. Five Nights at Freddy's had first launched on August 8th, 2014, and became an immediate smash hit on the indie horror scene. Fans didn't have to wait long to return to the world of killer animatronics, as creator Scott Cawthon released the sequel, simply titled Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 3 months later on November 11th, 2014. In the lead up to the launch of this sequel, a number of cryptic teasers would release. The first appeared on Scott's website, scottgames.com, on September 12th. It was a simple render of Freddy. However, this Freddy had a different appearance to that of the original game, and his body also looked damaged. This was followed up by a second image on September 28th, this one far more sinister. To the left it displayed Bonnie with his face missing and the endo beneath in clear view. To the right, we received our first glimpse of a new character known as Toy Bonnie. A message accompanied this haunting sight. Something borrowed, something new. A few weeks later, on October 7th, another spooky teaser dropped. This third image teased Foxy and his new counterpart Mangle as they peeked out from behind a purple curtain with the number 2 displayed beneath. Then, on October 15th, we received our first look at one of the new gameplay mechanics as we peered out from within a Freddy mask, a torn and tattered looking Foxy standing in the hallway outside of a security office ahead. The tagline for this picture reads as follows: "No place to run, and exactly one place to hide." Up to this point, only static renders had been uploaded to drum a pipe for FNAF 2, but fans really went wild when the following trailer appeared on Scott's YouTube account on October 21st, 2014. This trailer showcased a wealth of new features for the sequel, which we'll cover shortly, but first let's continue to look at FNAF 2's pre-launch marketing. Following the trailer, on November 9th, one final teaser released on scottgames.com. It was very dark, but when brightened, revealed a creepy marionette who we now know as the Puppet. On November 10th, a demo launched featuring the first 2 nights on indie game site IndieDB. But for those who wanted to hold out for the finished article, the wait wasn't long, an extra 24 hours to be precise, as Five Nights at Freddy's 2 launched on November 11th, 2014. A mobile port to Android dropped on November 15th, with iPhone following on November 20th, and Windows Phone on December 2nd. After FNAF 2 launched, it received mixed reviews, with some loving its concept and execution, and others finding the steep difficulty curve to be a little much. In many ways, the fanbase reacted the same way. Many people claimed this sequel is one of the better Five Nights games, while others will argue it's one of the worst. I personally always enjoyed FNAF 2, and overall find it to be one of my favourites. The game won 2 Fear Awards in January of 2015 and went on to launch for consoles such as the PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch in November of 2019. And that's pretty much the development history as we know it for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It had a brief turnaround time, and Scott kept fans intrigued every step of the way with a series of mysterious and creepy teasers. So now let's move on to a retrospective look of the game itself, starting with the story and gameplay. In FNAF 2 we take on the role of a security guard named Jeremy Fitzgerald, who accepts a job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The game seems to be a prequel to FNAF 1, taking place in November of 1987. The common theory is that FNAF 2 takes place after FNAF 4, and the old restaurant referred to in the game is in fact Fredbear's Family Diner.
We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down.
The animatronics from Fredbear's have been scrapped, deemed too scary for kids. However, they remain on site in the parts and service room, partially dismantled to provide parts for the newer kid-friendly toy animatronics. These include Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, Toy Freddy, and Mangle, a twisted version of Foxy. Two completely new characters join this lineup in the form of Balloon Boy and a spooky entity known as the Puppet, who emerges from a music box and instantly kills the player if they fail to keep it wound and the music playing. So there are 6 new animatronics in addition to degraded versions of the original 5, totaling 11 hazards at any one time. The objective is to survive until 6 AM while fending off killer animatronics in the process. If an animatronic reaches the security office via one of the vents on the left and right of the room, then we must quickly don a Freddy mask in order to fool them into thinking we are one of their own. The problem is that poor Jeremy can't breathe very well inside this mask, and so must remove it to perform his other duties. These include winding the music box and blinking his flashlight at the various animatronics to slow their progress through the restaurant, as well as, of course, checking the cameras. Phone Guy returns via pre-recorded messages too.
Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Through Phone Guy's monologues, we learn a great deal about the story of FNAF 2. As the nights go on, Phone Guy begins to speak of sinister rumours circulating to do with the company Fazbear Entertainment, and comments on the animatronics' behaviour, telling us they have been acting aggressively towards adults even during the daytime.
There's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days, I don't know. I want to emphasize, though, that it's really just a precaution. Fazbear Entertainment denies any wrongdoing. Just as a side note, though, try to avoid eye contact with any of the animatronics tonight if you can. Someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems. We're not sure. But the characters have been acting very unusual, almost aggressive towards the staff.
Eventually, Phone Guy explains they are locking down the entire building and no one is allowed in or out. Management is trying to contact the original restaurant owner, Henry Emily, who has been missing for years, in order to find answers to their killer animatronic problem. Eventually, after only being open for a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's closes its doors due to its mascot's malfunctioning. The new line of toy animatronics was scrapped during this process. Now, while this is the basic setup for the story of FNAF 2, there is a secret side story which is far more mysterious. This is discovered during a series of 8-bit styled minigames, which can occur in rare instances upon death. These minigames grant the player control over various animatronics, often followed around by a purple humanoid character. This figure became known as Purple Guy and is most commonly believed to represent William Afton of Afton Robotics. Afton designed and created the majority of the animatronics found throughout the FNAF series, and was responsible for the murder of at least 19 children during his lifetime. The children Afton killed were reborn inside the animatronic suits, the minigames seeming to symbolise these tragic events. During these minigames, letters are called out in a computerized monotone voice. These letters spell out short sentences such as help them and save them. Again, these phrases refer to William Afton's child victims. With the basic story synopsis and gameplay loop discussed, let us now move on to a closer look at the animatronics themselves. To end off this video, let's quickly look at each of the animatronics in turn and some trivia about them. Although do be mindful, I already have an entire series dedicated to in-depth breakdowns of this colourful cast, so check out those videos for something more detailed. Balloon Boy, or BB, is one of the most humanoid of the series' nightmarish robotic creations. He also looks far less creepy than most others too. Carrying a stripy balloon and a sign advertising them, his job in the pizzeria was to hold up balloons for the children to take. BB makes his presence in the left vent known with a friendly hello.
Hello. Hi.
While he doesn't have a jump scare per se and cannot kill the player directly, BB can cause a game over by cutting power to the air vent lights so we are unable to check for dangers, in addition to draining the battery in our flashlight. A childlike laughter can be heard while this occurs, and this laugh continues until we are finished off by another animatronic. The puppet is the most dangerous of enemies in FNAF 2, mainly because if we fail to wind its music box, it will begin making its way towards our office, and there is nothing we can do to prevent it from attacking, leading to an instant game over. Originally, the puppet was designed to hand out prizes to the children in Prize Corner, an area of the restaurant designated for gaming. However, after William Afton murdered his first victim, who coincidentally is believed to be Fazbear co-founder Henry's own daughter Charlotte, her soul ended up possessing the marionette and bringing the once inanimate object to life. We actually see an interpretation of this event in one of FNAF 2's 8-bit minigames. It is also believed that the possessed puppet was partially responsible for the resurrection of Afton's other victims. This minigame titled Give Gifts, Give Life shows the puppet approaching figures which resemble dead children and giving them gifts. An instruction then reads, Give Life, and by touching the figures again, animatronic masks appear on their faces, symbolising their rebirth inside the endoskeleton suits. The puppet is always aware, and as Phone Guy comments, always thinking.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
Originally, this ghastly looking mangle of endoskeleton parts was a clown-like version of Foxy. However, after many months of vandalism at the hands of the toddlers visiting the pizzeria, the staff dismantled Foxy and repurposed him as a take-apart, put-back-together attraction. As a result, the children would create nightmarish versions of this poor animatronic as they crudely dismantled and reassembled his body. This resulted in the creation of Mangle. As Mangle moves around the pizzeria, it emits a strange, garbled radio transmission. Hanging from the ceiling and clambering through the vents, we must be on high alert as it may attack at any point. Due to his methods of attack, jaw shape, and the year FNAF 2 is set in, many have theorised that Mangle may have been the animatronic responsible for the infamous bite of 87, an incident where a restaurateur lost their frontal lobe. The withered animatronics are the original designs of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy, as well as on rare occasions, Golden Freddy 2. These all originated from Fredbear's family diner, and their parts have been used in the maintenance of the toy animatronics, meaning they appear in various states of disrepair. They attack far more quickly than their toy counterparts, often appearing in the office with little notice, and if we don't equip our Freddy mask in a split second, then they jump scare us with an instant game over. The one exception is Foxy, who rather than appearing inside the office, lingers at the far end of a hallway. If we leave him unchecked for too long, Foxy rushes the office and jump scares us. To prevent this, we must flash our flashlight at him 5 times. Doing so will cause him to slink back into the darkness of the pizzeria. There's not too much more to say about these characters that we haven't already covered in our prior video, but these are certainly the creepiest forms Freddy and co have taken outside of their nightmarish guises in FNAF 4. So what about those toy animatronics? Well, they were designed to appeal more to younger children after the originals came off a bit too scary. They certainly feature a more colourful and plastic looking design. They are scarily happy for most of the time too. The toy animatronics use vents and so are far easier to counter as we can see and hear them as they clamber through. When one appears in the shaft to the left or right of the screen, simply pop on the mask to get up close and personal, but avoid an untimely jump scare. Of course, here are the jump scares for those of you who wish to see them all. With the animatronics now covered, it feels about time to wrap up this particular episode of the complete history of Five Nights at Freddy's. I hope you found this video both entertaining and informative, and if you did, remember to leave me a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. We'll return to this series in a few weeks' time with a look at Five Nights at Freddy's 3, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I shall see you on the next video.